It's great to be here. Thank you, Sally. Thank you to Build for the Future for inviting me. What a great event! What a great event! It's not often you come to events where there's such a great atmosphere and such a great positive approach. It's great, and hearing people's voices is, of course, what this is all about. Joe wanted me to let you know. I'm not going to share Joe's story, but he did want me to let you know that he had wanted to talk about his own journey and his background of being in a residential care home and how this thing called personalisation has been the key to him not only now getting his own home, getting a job with People First in Wales, and you know, what he says is he actually wanted to pay taxes. How many people would say that? He wanted to get off benefit and be a taxpayer, and he's achieved it, and I think that's brilliant. And so that's just a snippet of Joe's story. So I'm going to share just some of my thoughts about this thing called personalisation, and then I'm going to hand you over to Tina. And also, I was really lucky to be involved some years ago in a project with Bild when I worked for a local authority, and we were trying to get this thing called personalisation off the ground. And it was there were exciting times, very challenging. And Tina reminded me this morning, it was 7 years ago. And I have to ask, how far have things moved on? You know, I think what we've done in this country is really make something that's quite simple. We've actually made it very, very complicated, haven't we? Very too complicated. You know, personalisation is what this slide said. It's actually all about people getting better lives, getting support that they need to live their lives in the way that is right for them and that they want, living their life their way. And of course, sadly, what we've done is we've made it really confusing, and we've got all sorts of terms now, haven't we? So if you need support in your life, you might come across this thing called a RAS. You might have a as a result of that, you might have a PB, or you might now have a PHB or an IB. If you know, maybe some folk have got CHC as part of their IB, and you might have had ILF, but you're not going to keep that probably because that's going. If you live in your own home, you might be eligible for a DFG. You know, this is really, I know how complicated have we made it, and I think it's everyone's job to keep this as simple as possible and to keep the voice of people and their families at the heart of this, because really it's not rocket science, is it? It shouldn't be rocket science. It's about getting support tailored around the person, you know, tailored to their preferences, their needs, their wishes and their circumstance. It shouldn't be rocket science. But sadly, I think because, and I've worked in local authorities, so I'm part of this, you know, as soon as we get hold of something, we tend to make it a bit complicated. So I think, you know, it's everybody's job to keep challenging, keep the person at the heart, and just cut through some of this jargon and the red tape and the bureaucracy that tends to get people dragged down in this. And it's really sad because I've heard people say, oh, personalisation, God, what a nightmare. It doesn't work, does it? You know, and it's so sad because personalisation absolutely is what good support is all about. What has been really difficult is the way that it's been implemented in some places, but there's also some brilliant examples of things going well, and we've heard some great examples this morning from Kath and others about how good support is actually just about living your life in the way you choose. It's actually just, you know, having your own place, choosing who you live with, and doing what's important to you in your life. This shouldn't be rocket science. Right, I'm just going to stop waffling. I haven't seen that photograph before, thank you. I was going to say as well that what's great, having been involved with Build some years ago, is coming back and seeing so many old faces. And I was going to look at Keith and say, but your face seems to have got younger. But no, seriously, it's great seeing so many people that whose faces I recognise, and you know, even if I can't remember your names. So yeah, I'm now working with the National Development Team for Inclusion. It's called the NDTi, and we're doing some work right across the piece with local authorities, providers, voluntary organisations, advocacy groups, just trying to push this thing called social inclusion, involving people at the heart, keeping people at the heart of what this change is all about. So there we go, having better lives through personal budgets. And in an attempt to keep this as simple as possible, I'm going to try and talk about something else, which isn't about personal budgets. I'm going to talk about pizza. All right? Yeah, we're running up to lunch, so so that's obviously popular. So we're going to talk about pizza, and we're going to talk about, you know, let's say that let's say that you really like to have pizza as part of your life. And in order to get that pizza, you might have what's called a pizza budget. You might have a budget, just, you know, to get that pizza that's important to you, okay? So let's use this as an example and just try and show just how simple this should be, okay? So who likes pizza here? Yeah! You're all very good putting your hands up. I thought you'd shout out. So your pizza budget might be your PB, all right? Yeah. So what type, you know, you can have so many types of pizza. There's not just one pizza, is there? What have we got? We've got cheese, mozzarella, thank you, Sally, get the right sort of cheese. We've got olives. We've got, you might choose to have, most people have tomatoes on their pizza, don't they? We've got some ham down the bottom. We've got pineapple. We've got some pepper. We've got some salami. And that thing in the middle, that's anchovies. Who likes anchovies? No, not popular. Yeah, a few people like anchovies. What have I missed? Is there anything? Sweet corn, thank you. Olives, got olives. Garlic, thank you, garlic. Mushrooms. It depends, absolutely. There is not just one pizza, is there, that we all like? Everybody has their own preferences, and they might put different ingredients together to form that perfect pizza. You might like it with a really thin crust. You might like it with that fat, wodgy crust with the cheese inside. It's absolutely personal to you, all right? So what type of pizza do you like? That's a really, really big question, isn't it? Just like, what sort of support do you need? You know, it's absolutely individual to the person. And one person's PB and what they spend it on will look very different to the next person, because everybody has their own choices and preferences. All right, what we might do, of course, is this is a slice of a pizza from a very big pizza. So a lot of pizzas you might want to have with your friends, mightn't you? You might all club together. You might buy a great big pizza and then cut it into pieces and share it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You might not. So sometimes, if you know, and that's a fairly ordinary piece of pizza, isn't it? It's kind of just cheese and tomato. But you can have one big pizza. And I'm going to, you know, the example for this might be if you share support with other people. It's all kind of fairly the same because you're sharing that support. It can happen in the same building. And of course, the support providers might just cut that pizza up into lots and lots of pieces and share it out. That's okay if that's what you want to do, isn't it? It can be cheaper, can't it? To club together with your friends and get a pizza that you share. Yeah? Does anyone do that? Yeah. It can be right for you. I'm not saying it's wrong. But if you really like olives on your pizza, or pepper, or anchovies, then you might want to top it up and add that to your piece of pizza so that it's right for you. And that's your choice, isn't it? So you might get, so what I'm saying is you might have a piece of a pizza that you share with someone else, but you individualize it, you make it right for you, because that's what that reflects your choices. So, how can you spend your pizza budget? You can have a slice of a large pizza with your friends. You have to kind of all want the same thing, don't you? You have to all like your cheese and tomato if it's this piece of pizza. Yeah, you have to all be in agreement that that's what you're choosing. It can cost you less money, so that's a really good choice for some people. If you all kind of want the same thing and you want it to happen, you want to share that pizza at the same time, so nobody gets the cold slice that's left over in the end of the box, the following morning. But that's one option, isn't it, for spending your PB, your pizza budget. But as we've said, you might want to top that up. You might want to add your own ingredients to that and make it personal to you. That's one choice. You can buy your own pizza, which is exactly how you like it. So you might take your pizza budget and buy one that is absolutely right for you. Yeah? So you might choose, if we're now talking about support, you might choose to buy that support that's unique for you, tailored around exactly what you want, and you go to perhaps somewhere where you can buy that, a shop, a provider, and you choose the one you want. All right? The other thing you can do, and I think Tina at my side will say this is something she's worked really hard with James to do over the last few years, is you might buy the ingredients and you might make it yourself. So it's just how you want it. Does anyone here do that? Yeah, great pizza cooks. That's one option, isn't it? So how can you spend your pizza budget? Lots of different ways. But what's the important thing? That it's right for you and that you get exactly what it is that you like. And the truth is, you might one week you might really fancy anchovies on your pizza, and the next week you might be going for that tuna and sweet corn. We didn't mention tuna. So just because you like something one week doesn't mean that you want to have it every single week for the rest of your life, does it? So this should be able to change as you just fancy something different on a Friday night. You think, you know what, I'm going to go out and get that pizza now because I really fancy it, and I'm going to see if my mates want to come around and we'll share one. So I hope I'm not making this any more confusing. The pizza project. So there's lots of different ways. It's still a PB. There are lots of different ways that you can spend it, dependent on what's right for you and what you want to do. All right. I'm going to just now move off pizzas, but I hope that made some sort of sense. And just go back to personal budgets and support. And Tina said to me there's an awful lot of myths out there about this, and there's a lot of confusion and real kind of uncertainty about what this is all about and what people can and can't do. So I just thought, let's just for a few minutes just go through some of these myth busters. And there might be more, so do chip in with more. If you have a personal budget and you choose to take that as a direct payment, where you're buying your own things, making it yourself, it's not regarded as income. You do not lose your benefits as a result of that. You do not have to pay tax on it, okay? I just wanted to really clarify that, because I hear that a lot of people are really unsure about having a direct payment because they think they'll be penalised. Quite the opposite. I mean, the government is now, with the Care Act as well, really trying to encourage as many people as possible to have a direct payment, because we know that that's the way most people can really, going back to the pizza, you can make that exactly how you want it, and you can change it every week if you want to. A lot of people get really good support package through having a direct payment, and that's something that local authorities and providers have got to make as easy and attractive for people to do as possible. So, a lot of the frustrations come from how it's being implemented, and the delays and the decisions, and can you spend it on this or can you spend it on that? You can spend it on whatever it is that will achieve your outcomes. The outcomes that meet those assessed needs, if it's a personal budget. But, really, and this is I'll move to the last point. Creativity has got to run through this. You can manage your personal budget in many different ways. So all those different ways, whether you buy it, from an existing provider, whether you have that slice of the pizza that you share with others, or whether you make your own, whether you go out and buy one that's already made, however you spend it, it's still a personal budget, all right? And you don't have to choose one or the other. You can have a bit of that shared pizza and top it up with some extra ingredients that you might have bought with your direct payment. You can mix and match with this stuff. It's not, do you want a direct payment or don't you? It should be about, is a direct payment appropriate for this bit of your support in your life? Will this help? Will this be the best way of managing that bit of the money? A lot of people, I think they have to choose one or the other. And if they choose the one, then that's it. They don't get a chance to try anything different. It should change over time. People should be allowed to be flexible. They shouldn't be set in stone. So anyone who's been involved in writing a support plan, that should be, it shouldn't just sit on the shelf, should it, as a standard document. It's got to change and adapt to your life and your changing wishes and needs. So keep those support plans really live, and you should have that freedom to change how you spend the money as you see fit. If you're not getting that freedom, you challenge the local authority, because everything in the Care Act says that they've got to be much more hands-off in terms of how they manage this and support people to get that good life. And as I said, creativity, different ways of spending a personal budget. Doesn't matter. The important thing is it going to achieve that outcome that's really important to you? And if it's a personal budget, that there's money put, from the state to achieve that outcome. But I hear a lot of people saying, well, I've been told I can't spend my personal budget on a holiday because they won't allow that. Now, how much money do we spend on respite care? So we'd rather put people in a building, with lots of other people, which isn't much of a great break for many, rather than a holiday. There's no rules about this. The important thing is, will that holiday give people the break that the respite, is there to achieve? Will it give the carer a break? It's things like that. It's not about, I only have to spend it on support. There's a great speaker, Caroline Tomlinson was with In Control. If any of you have heard Caroline speak, and her son was the first personal budget user in this country, and she says it's not about staff, it's about stuff. So don't always think that it's got to be about someone coming into your home or someone coming into your life. You can buy stuff with your personal budget that makes your life or your home environment easier and helps you be more independent. So don't rule out the stuff. Don't always think it's about the staff. I'm sure there are many more myths, but those are a few that were kind of top of my head when I was doing this. And just one slide about what does all this mean for providers. I know there are some providers in this room, organisations that actually provide support to people with a learning disability. What do they need to do? I mean, this is stating the obvious, but let's just remind ourselves. It really is, getting personalisation right really is about listening to the person, maybe having a different conversation. It's not about an assessment that's done to the person. It's about a conversation that really understands what's important to that person in changing their life or having a good life or keeping a good life that they've got. What matters most to that person? And if they have family and family carers, then what's important to the family as well? So that's the role of providers as well as social workers, nurses, anybody else involved in the person's life. We've got to make it possible for people to have something that is tailored to their individual preferences. So many providers might be providing that great big pizza that's cut up and shared amongst lots of people. As I say, that's all right. But are we enabling people to put the extra olives on their bit of the pizza, to take off the tuna because they don't like it? Are we enabling people to have that preference, even though they've got support that is shared with other people? Are we individualising it as much as we could? Because we really shouldn't assume that just because a group of people are living together or using a building in the day together that they all want or need the same thing. None of us would do. And also providers have got to continually listen, be flexible, be creative. And as I've said, you know, remember people don't always want the same thing. But flexibility and creativity is at the heart of this, isn't it? You know, really adapting, listening, changing. And providers should have that freedom within people are using their personal budgets for that support. Adapt it, change it. Lives don't stay the same every day, week on week, month on month. I'm sure there are many other things providers need to do, but that's just a quick... How long have we got? Not very long, sadly. I love this photo of James. Sorry. Tina will explain what was happening, I think, when this photo was taken. I was really lucky, as I say, to work with Tina and get to know James a little bit some years ago when he was first embarking on his journey of getting an individual budget and getting support tailored around exactly what was right for him. And it's fantastic to hear how his life has really taken off. And I'm going to hand you over to Tina now to pick up that thread.